You. Yeah, you watching this video, you look like you like free stuff. You want some free stuff? I'm gonna give you free stuff. You're in the right place. If you guys want a free bow, all you have to do, like, subscribe, and comment on these videos. If you're doing that, you're entered to win our giveaway. Our giveaway this time is a free PSE bow. You want a free bow? You know what to do. Well, guys, it's springtime, and when I think of spring, a lot of guys are thinking about turkey hunting, things like that. I'm thinking about ways to improve habitat to get ready for my whitetail season. It's one of those things that if you ever buy a property, or even if you don't have property, there's things that you can be doing this time of year, and honestly, it almost becomes more fun. You know, it helps build up the story to your whitetail season. Let's say you got a buck you're going after. There's things you can do right now to ensure that that buck spends more time on your property throughout the course of the summer, where you can get more intel, pick up on his patterns, what he's doing, even though his pattern might be a little bit different in the fall. There's things you can do to keep deer on your property right now in November and December. I mean, there's things that we can do in spring right now that you guys should be doing. As far as strategically planning your hunts, there's something we can do right now this time of year. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend that everybody does this time of year is, if legal in your area, get down some mineral. Okay, the perk to putting down mineral is it helps get inventory as to what is using your property. So here's the thing about mineral, and don't shoot the messenger. This is literally scientifically driven and not my opinion. But mineral in a free-ranging environment does not benefit antler growth or body development or anything like that in whitetails. Whoever tells you otherwise is probably trying to sell you something. I'll put it that way. That comes out of Penn State University. There's articles to prove it. Where the research gets interesting is that it does help in a closed environment where the whitetails can't just roam and go wherever, you know, to get their food. They have to go to one spot. So if they have to go to one spot to get their mineral and their nutrients and all those things and their vitamins, well, that's where they're going to go. So obviously that makes sense, that it makes a difference in a closed environment. So with that being said, why do you still put down mineral, Brett? Because deer tend to hit it. Like there's still going to be at least a benefit from the standpoint of it helps get deer on camera. But it's not necessary is what I'm getting at. Like these whitetails have gotten mineral and nutrients for years and years and decades and hundreds of years prior to man ever putting out a salt block. There's other places where they can get these minerals and things like that. But it does help with camera inventory, low fence, no fence environment. So why not put it out? Maybe you pick up on one of your bucks, you know, just frequenting the property, and it's going to help you watch that buck progress all the way through probably August, maybe into September when they finally stop hitting mineral, which it's one of those things I've heard people talk about. Should I put my mineral strategically on my property so I can hunt over it? You're not going to kill a deer over mineral, not most times at least, because the deer don't need it at that point of the season in which the season has begun. The growing season is over. They just don't crave it as much. So they're not necessarily looking for it. So hunting over it's not a huge deal to me. So mineral is one of the first things on the list. Second thing, if you're putting down mineral, you might as well put out your trail cameras. And if you put out your trail cameras, the one thing that we could do is pay attention to the fawn recruitment, the fawn drop, how many fawns are on your property, and more importantly, when they're dropping. Because if we pay attention to that, it's going to help me decide when I need to hunt in November. What'd you say, Brett? Yeah, that's right. Fawn dropping right now can help me figure out when I need to hunt in November. So the perk to paying attention to when these fawns are dropping, what day to a T these fawns are dropping, is we can reverse the calendar 200 to 205 days on average to figure out when that doe was bred ultimately, because that's generally the period of time that it takes for a fawn to be born after being bred, is about 200 to 205 days. So if my first trail camera picture is, you know, in early May, I can back that day up, back that calendar up 200, give or take days, get myself to mid-October and say, whoa, there were deer that were getting bred and coming into estrus on my property in October, which maybe gives me a reason to hunt a little bit earlier than most guys who will stay out till November. Like when the clock strikes midnight on November 1st, everything just changes miraculously. Well, there's a bell curve. There's scientific evidence showing that deer are being bred all through October already. Not in majority, but it's happening. So with that being said, if you put some trail cameras out, get it on that mineral. you're going to see fawns being born and fawns walking around, and then you can correlate, you know, that time period with, you know, 200 give or take days prior. Figure out when that doe was bred. Hunt the week prior to that, because that's the chasing phase. You don't necessarily want to aim to hunt during peak breeding. I'm not saying you want to have success. You definitely will. You definitely can, but that week prior to that even is a way better week to hunt in most cases. So this will help you literally plan your upcoming schedule as to where you want to hunt, and what properties you want to hunt and all that good stuff. So think about that this time of year in spring. The other thing that we should be doing, and this very well might be the most important thing that you can do, is be focused on spring food plots. Spring food plots. And in fact, what spring food plot, Brett, which one do I want to get in? The most important to me is a soybean. Getting soybeans in, super high in protein, going to help the antler development, going to help the body weight development, and all those good things, help grow bigger deer. It's as simple as that. The perk to putting in soybeans is if you put in the right soybeans and you keep the deer off them to a certain extent, is you might have a great late season food source as well at that point. A lot of guys talk about, oh, you don't want to have the summer food because, you know, who wants a deer on the property in the summer? Well, what that person or people aren't thinking about is that summer food can turn into late season food if managed properly. If you put in foraged soybeans that last much longer, maybe put 3 to 5 times the output of a normal agriculture bean on your property, it's a lot more likely that there's going to be soybeans left in the season. They might stay greener longer into the season as well, depending on the variety, the different maturity rates that you plant. So putting soybeans in now could make your hunt better in December and January, the last week of season. You could change the last week of your season right now. If you didn't fill your tag and you have a late season muzzleloader tag, burning a hole in your pocket, you know, come the end of this upcoming hunting season, you could change what happens right now by planting the right soybean, a foraged soybean with multiple maturity rates, so that, you know, there's a bunch of different soybeans in there at different rates of growth. And ultimately have a great late season food source. So the guys who are saying don't plant summer food, you don't need it, aren't thinking about what summer food can turn into late in the season. So if I had to come up with, I guess, my top 3 ways or the top 3 things I should be focusing on during the spring to ensure that my hunting season goes as good as it possibly can, those are the top 3 things, guys. So if you like those tips, if you like any tips, if you like food plotting tips, habitat tips, timber stand improvement, anything like that. If you like any of those topics, hell, you like product reviews, anything like that, make sure you like and subscribe. We're always putting out new videos, 2 a week, always doing giveaways. And if you're subscribed to our channel, you're entered in our giveaways. It's a win-win for everybody. Like and subscribe.